Joining us now to talk more about this is Joe McLean, managing partner at MAI Global Family Office, who also is well known, as an athletic advisor for entrepreneurs and artists. So good morning, Joe.
Good morning, Trinity. Good morning, Kristen.
It's great to have you on the show with us today. So let's just dive into this conversation. Why do you think it's so crucial to educate athletes about financial literacy before they sign NIL deals at a collegiate level, and how can this early education impact their long-term financial well-being?
I love to see the news that we're not only just going to college, but now we're getting into high school, because these are classes that I wish all of us personally had when we were growing up. And to watch the legacy of IMG Academy, who was actually MAI, Global Family Office, was founded 51 years ago by the exact same people, Mark McCormick and Arnold Palmer, with this vision to take an athlete to an entrepreneur to an owner in everything they do. So the sooner an athlete can begin to learn how to handle their life both on the court or on the field, but also financially do it thoughtfully off the court or off the field, that will set them up for financial success, but also success in their business and their life over time.
Joe, what are some of the financial situations or scenarios that these athletes would need to navigate as they grow their careers and their profession?
Well, at first, it's really understanding the flow of money and how it goes in and out of your life. And so this whole premise of paying yourself first and understanding that, okay, I have an NIL deal. I'm now an independent contractor. I've got to set up an entity. I've got to pay taxes on that money. And then I have to begin to save. And so we have to learn how to get much more organized early and seek out that professional locker room, which I think is the discussion today in life, so that you can surround yourself with mentors to learn throughout your life, not just on the court, but in your financial life as well.
Joe, so as the NIL era continues to expand, do you foresee top prep schools such as IMG Academy increasing partnering with financial institutions to support their student athletes? And what could these partnerships look like?
I think you have to, because now the money's coming sooner and sooner. And so the more that we can just come in and work with these young people, both men and women — by the way, the women's sports are exploding financially as well — the sooner we can get in and just begin to teach and educate, and not try to sell someone a product or pitch them an investment idea, but just simply walk them through what it looks like to be a pro, so that they can be the pro's pro off the court. The sooner we get in and do that and begin to just simply educate and empower, because a lot of times in our own households, we're afraid to talk about money. Our parents may not have really educated us about our finances because they may not have been educated. So if our young people know that the next generation is watching them and how they handle their business off the court, then we will empower them to have a higher level of respect in the locker room and to begin to build their financial lives much sooner than we ever had to growing up.
Joe, I liked your nod there to women's sports, because basketball phenom Caitlin Clark lit up the basketball arena during her career at the University of Iowa, raking in more than $3 million just in NIL earnings alone, the fourth most of any athlete out there. What would be your recommendation to an athlete like Caitlin Clark to put the processes in place to grow that money over time?
Well, I have two daughters, so they're aspiring to do something similar to Caitlin. And so my recommendation to Caitlin would be to truly think long term, and not just this first $3 million, but how do I build a personal brand on the court and off the court that builds a legacy for generations to come? And so not just think about this first $3 million, but how do I handle myself? How do I be a great teammate? How do I go out into the community? College football is starting this year, and the one thing that players look at in terms of building their NIL, sometimes it's how much money I can personally get when they have these opportunities to spread this money throughout their entire community from a giving strategy. And so my thought to Caitlin would be to think long term and build a strategy and have a trusted locker room, but also how do I use this money for good and improve the community around me.
Mm-hmm. Now, Joe, with college football season about to kick off, what are some of the new challenges that student athletes are facing in the evolving NIL landscape, and how do you think that they should go about navigating through these obstacles?
I can't believe college football is here already, but it's exciting. One of the challenges, just as a young person, is going in and knowing that maybe I'm the quarterback or I'm the top receiver, and I'm getting paid a lot more money than a lot of my other teammates in the locker room. And the last thing that you want to do is to get that breakdown within as a teammate in the locker room. And so I would empower student athletes that are focusing on NIL to think about their entire team and how they can help all of the student athletes in their locker room. Think about their community and how they can help their entire community around the locker room, so that you don't, I always say, compete on the field, not in the locker room. And so use this NIL for good, not just for yourself, but for all of your teams.
It's been great to see some of these athletes truly give back, Joe, and be a part of their community. And going back to Clark, using that as a business case here, I remember she thinks that this is a different time, a different era in history because of NIL and social media, and how much social media can boost those NIL earnings. I know you're a financial planner and a wealth advisor here, but how do you see social media fitting into this equation?
Well, hopefully it's for good. You know, there's a lot of noise out there in terms of the next generation really watching, what's going on and how Caitlin's handling herself as an athlete and as an entrepreneur. If we could use social media for good, to inspire, to educate and to entertain a little bit, we can utilize that now as a tool for good to empower people to want to learn more about personal finance and how to make themselves better within their community.
Well, thank you so much, Joe, for joining us this morning on NYSE TV Live. We'll speak to you soon.
Thank you, Kristen. I'll see you in your 100th broadcast. Congrats.
Thank you.